on Tuesday, which everybody has been talking about, justifiably so. And he came into the office yesterday beating his chest. But more like him belly, because him belly big now, so, it take up where him chest used to do. So I beat him belly. I say, your interview, boy? So I said, yes, Cliff. Yeah. Donald Tapia, the former U.S. ambassador, was a very obliging guest. And of course, Cliff asked questions of him, expertly carrying the conversation along to keep Ambassador Tapia talking, reasoning. It was very, very good. I almost said radio. It was very good television. It was very good multimedia. Very, very good. And what he spoke and said about Daryl Vaz, the headline isn't new, but the details certainly were. And it caused me to go home yesterday and read on a whole bunch of things on the history of character assassination. And I was reading about the French Revolution and Louis XV and Louis XVI and how character assassination on senior figures under their respective rules. King Richard in the UK, in England. So many figures, victims of political character assassination. And I said to myself, what is funny is that I do believe that all of these people taken into totality, multiplied by 1,000, together multiplied by 1,000, they don't hold a patch on Daryl Vaz and what he has gone through. And understand what we're saying here, audience. This has nothing to do with who is friends with whom. We know Daryl Vaz from a distance as a cabinet minister. That's what we do. That's what we know. We don't dine at his table or relax and unwind with him and his family. That's for him and other people, not us. So we're just looking as commentators. And I've said here before, imagine having to live with 40 years of being accused of what he was accused of where Diane Smith is concerned, the former Immaculate Conception high school girl. That alone. But when you twin that with rumors that I've heard about Daryl Vaz even before I came into media, long before, of this and drugs and this and all kinds of rumors, I wonder where them things come from. And those rumors made their way into dossiers, prepared and submitted at the highest diplomatic level in this land and at the highest diplomatic level between Jamaica and our most important partner, the United States. And as I read up on the history of political character assassinations, I said to myself, well, how could one man carry such a cross? They have the saying, must Jesus bear the cross alone and the rest of us go free? Daryl Vaz has lugged a hell of a cross. Maybe 2 crosses. For the best part of 40 years, or the better part of 40 years. And that he has managed to serve and serve with distinction in many areas is a credit to him and those who have believed in him, notwithstanding the rumors that have stalked him like a champion racehorse sitting just off the shoulder of the leader, ready to pounce with 2 furlongs to go on and win the race. That's the specter that has loomed, a ghoulish figure, these 2 crosses over Vaz for decades. What Tapia said yesterday when he name dropped PNP, I said to myself, Lord have mercy. Because here we go again. Tapia says PNP. As a public commentator, I'm obliged to assess from the perspective of what he says happened under a PNP administration. And he's going to appear as a, see, you know, George, I cost PNP. It wasn't me. I'm just doing the dishes. Donald Tapia gave Cliff Hughes and us food for thought on Tuesday. And I just come this morning to wash up the plate them. Because here he says, Vaz's father Douglas, rumors started from the time Douglas was in government and young Vaz started to emerge. And the various claims against Vaz's name, young Vaz, Daryl, from that time of his father active in politics, right through it after his father's retirement, have dogged him through it. And he says, under a PNP administration, that's where he said charges, but it was claims. We're really talking about claims. That's where those claims emerged from. So the question this morning is, who in the PNP has run the wickedest political program ever run on a political opponent in the history of this country? Which individual, which collection of individual, which coterie, C-O-T-E-R-I-E, which cabal, C-A-B-A-L, which committee, everybody can spell committee, is responsible for demonizing Daryl Vaz in the eyes of so many Jamaicans? Donald Tapia even said he went to a dinner with the then opposition leader, Dr. Peter Phillips, and said, where's the evidence to support all of this that you all claim? This dossier was prepared while you were in opposition, in government rather. You're in opposition now, but where's the evidence to support these claims? He says other PNP officials were at the dinner. And nothing was put on the table to say, here is evidence to support this claim. And then, remember now, I see the media have it that Vaz's visa was revoked in 2021. I think what is more accurate is that Vaz the media has it that Vaz's visa was revoked in 2019. I think what is more accurate is that Vaz confirmed in 2019 that his visa had been revoked. It doesn't necessarily mean it had been revoked in 2019. But we're sure that he got it back in 2021. So remember what Tapia has said now about the PNP's involvement. It's not my interpretation. I'm not name dropping the PNP here. As I say, I'm just here washing up plate after Tapia and Cliff Hughes had a hell of a feast on Cliff Hughes Online on Tuesday. He said PNP, he said Dr. Peter Phillips, and he said PNP more than once. So we're in no doubt, according to Tapia, of where the rumors against Vaz came from about his visa. Watch this now. September 2021. A press release issued by the PNP. The People's National Party is calling on Minister Daryl Vaz to explain details surrounding a waiver he was granted that has helped him to secure a one-year US visa. According to the PNP, the need for this waiver raises immediate concerns which must be addressed. The opposition is calling on Vaz to clarify for the people of Jamaica the circumstances which led to the need for a waiver. Direct quote from the press release now, sent on Saturday, September 25. Mr. Vaz is a sitting member of the cabinet, and the need for this waiver raises immediate concerns which must be addressed, as it indicates that the consular officer had reason to believe that Mr. Vaz is associated with drug trafficking. That was the PNP's release of September 25, 2021. So then, based on what the former US ambassador has said, if it is that we are to believe that the PNP has run a program on Daryl Vaz and ran that program for a long time, is it the same PNP now who's asking Vaz to fess up and to say why his US visa had been revoked and why the consular officer was given reason to believe that Vaz is associated with drug trafficking? And the PNP raised the Vaz visa issue as recently as when Isaac Buchanan was coming into politics and the JLP raised concerns about the ISAT issue. And they said, well, Vaz had his US visa revoked for trafficking issues. And you all hug up Vaz, so who are you now to talk about us putting forward Isaac Buchanan as a standard bearer for the party? These are things that in the normal course of things you'd say, boy, deserve commission of inquiry. But there's so much work to be done here. But we can't just let this slide. The PNP is very quick, very swift. Their media center is very active. They churn out releases. Everything there's a PNP response, a PNP release. There was no release about the voice notes concerning Major Anderson and Nara. Mm-hmm. I haven't yet seen a release about what Tapia said. What do you think? Do you think they'll respond officially to what the former U.S. ambassador said? Will they say he was telling lies? Because that's the only thing that can cause the record not to retain the entry that the PNP told lies on Daryl Vaz, sufficient for him to lose his visa and sufficient for his reputation to be stained. I really hope it's not so. As our alternative government, it would look good for this to be the truth. What a thing.